Hello, this is David with entry number 900 or 1062. I'm here driving back from the car, not dealership, but car licensing center. It's a 1 hour 10-minute drive to get there, and I don't have a license. Not because I failed, but because I was not told that I had to bring a specific paper that proved my citizenship in my city. And even though the same examiner saw it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, he did not. He said that he could not validate my residence unless he saw the paper again. And because my boss failed to tell me that I needed this paperwork, I was not able to even take the test. So I didn't fail, but I wasn't even able to take the test, which, to be honest, feels worse than not being able to take the test. That feels worse than failing. It was a total waste of time. So this is 2 hours of my life driving now, 2 hours and almost and a half of my life driving back and forth from Yamaguchi City to Shunan that I will never be able to get back. But on the upside, I did get to get cheap gas in Yamaguchi. So yeah, I'm a little angry. I'm a little perturbed, but all in all, I think I'll live, obviously. But that means that if I don't pass next week, I'm kind of screwed in terms of my getting around the city, because that means my international license will be invalid starting February 15th, which means I have one chance to pass the test now. And if I don't, it means then I get chauffeured around the city by the boss's husband until I'm able to pass, which is super awesome. On the upside, I did look online, and it seems like the test is not super hard. Basically, the evaluator, you get into the evaluator's car and you have to sit there and take orders from him and make sure that you are always looking around, looking at your mirrors, looking at, doing checks, visual checks everywhere. Basically, what I've read online is that it's important to be extra exaggerated in all your movements. So that's what they really want to see, is that you're really taking care to do everything correctly, more than correctly. And I've hit like 4 red lights in a row now. So that's my plan, and I don't think I'm gonna fail because I'm a pretty good driver when I want to be. 2 things that I read that were really alarming was, one, whenever you turn in Japan, regardless left or right, they want you to slow down to almost a complete stop before you actually turn. So before you start turning the wheel, you should be slow enough so that you do not need to depress the brake at all, which I find, in my experience driving here, that's how they drive, and it's extremely irritating. The other point that is borderline dangerous is that when you do left-hand turns, so you're in the left lane and you're doing a left turn, you're supposed to go all the way over until you're basically almost touching the curb. And what this is supposed to do is disable people on bikes and motorcycles from being able to turn. And so they're forced to stop, or else they'll run into you. Now, I don't know about you, but that seems borderline reckless and very stupid. But if you don't do it, you are told that you fail. The third point, I know I didn't say three, but the third point that really shocked me about the test is that if you touch the curb with your car, like so if you, I forgot what the term is. If you touch the curb with the wheels of your car, it's not a failure. What is a failure is if you continue to drive going forward. That's a failure. So what I've been told is that you are supposed to stop the car, reverse, reset the wheel, check the mirrors, and then continue forward. So that's 2 or 3 seconds. But that's weird, right? Like in America, I know that if you touch the curb during a driving test, you fail. But in Japan, it's perfectly okay to touch the curb as long as you follow this procedure to reset the conditions of driving. To me, that just seems silly. Not as silly as going super close to the curb in order to turn left, but on the same order of silliness. So having all that in mind, I think I'll be fine taking the test. You just gotta drive very slow, very methodical, taking every turn as slow as you can. Pretty frustrating, but that's how they want you to do it. So I'm not really worried. I'm just annoyed that I couldn't take it today because I was all ready. I got up really early. I was all mentally prepared. And the guy was the man who helped me was so fucking irritated because I guess my boss has done this a couple other times where she didn't tell people coming in all the stuff they needed to bring. So it's a waste of his time. Of course it was only like 10 minutes, but it was a waste of his time and it was a waste of my time. And in Japan, it's the service industry people are like super conscientious of time and like taking up people's time, and they really don't want to take as little time as possible. And so like it wasn't a huge deal, of course, but it just was a huge waste of time. It was almost like setting up like a whole bunch of red tape that I now have to jump through next time. I also wasn't told that to take the test you have to have a picture, and the picture has to be like really small, like 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters or something. And so my boss said, just bring a passport picture and you'll be okay, they'll cut it. So I went and took the passport picture, which cost $8, and then I brought it to him and he was like, oh no, too big, and I was like, what? And he was like, oh, you have to go take another picture. So I had to pay another $8 to take the picture. So it's just a lot of dysfunction. And it's just irritating because it doesn't need to be like this. But for some reason, I don't know why, there's just a lot of miscommunication. But it's okay. I'm annoyed, but I'm not angry. I'm just annoyed strongly. But that's it for today. This was a nice long one. I will try and record again. So my goal next week is to record one before the test on the way there and one after the test on the way back. And hopefully it will be light enough. I'm gonna go really early next time. I think I'll leave the house at like 6:30, and because I don't want to avoid all the traffic that I hit today. And yeah, I want to just have like a before and after kind of thing. But thanks for watching, and I will talk with you soon.